Greetings, YouTube. This morning, while puttering around on my errand runs, I was listening to NPR as I normally do, and they had this woman reporter come on, and she was talking about the third-party fulfillment centers that fill the orders for pretty much almost all of the online shopping that you and I do. Even Powell's Books, which is supposed to be, the independent bookstore, uses fulfillment centers for anything that is not listed on their site as in stock. In stock means it's inside the Powell's building. If it doesn't say in stock, some poor worker drone is out there picking it from a shelf with a little device in their hand which counts down their progress by the second. And when they fail to achieve their goal, which is get to the object, put the object in a box so the box can then scoot off and fill an order, they can get reprimanded. And if they're not keeping up to a standard, a very high standard, they can be gone. In fact, they were discussing one person who had within a certain period, you have to be there every day exactly on time, perfectly attendance. His wife went into labor, so he took a day off, and they fired him. And he wanted a job, so he had to go through the entire application and training process over again, because that's how this evil corporation functions. And the reporter had gone undercover as a picker in one of the big, huge warehouses, like 1,000,000 square feet of warehouse. And the people on average are moving 12 miles a day, time to the second. And if you need to go to the bathroom, that time is counted against you. They can't stop you, but that time is counted against you. And she sounded just amazed and stunned about what she'd discovered about how this crushing, soul-rending, back-breaking, process that just grinds people into the earth. And it was like she personally had discovered it for the first time. Like she had been completely unaware that this phenomena had existed. The phenomena of capitalists grinding up workers until they are dead, kicking their corpses out the door, and bringing a new worker in. Journalists of one kind or another, and true progressives, unlike NPR, have been discussing this since the 19th century, possibly the 18th in some particularly progressive areas, about how capitalism is bad for workers and how these kinds of jobs are soul-crushing and body-grinding. It's unbelievable what working in that kind of an environment can do to you. Now, I've never been a picker. With any luck, I will never be a picker. But I have spent 33 years working in manufacturing in one type or another. I have been an operator. I have been a lead operator. I have been a floor inspector. I have been an income inspector. I have been a setup man. And once again, I am an operator. And I watch this every day grind people up a little bit more. There's never a day I don't leave work with pain in my hands and my arms and my back. Never, ever a day that doesn't happen. The job is brutal. And I've seen it over the last 17 years, how the rates go up and the amount of work we do increases. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Sometimes they actually make changes that do in fact make our jobs slightly easier. But most of the time, that doesn't happen. Most of the time, it's just we need more. Make it happen. And that's how it works in manufacturing. That's how it works in the exploitation of workers by the capitalist system. Now, I am not advocating for communism. What I am advocating for are strong regulations on capitalists and strong protections for workers. That's what I'm advocating for. Not only high minimum wages, so you have a living wage, but maximum wages, saying that CEOs, you can't make more than X unless you raise the pay on your minimum wage workers. You are forced to roll that other money that isn't going in your pocket back into your company to make improvements and increase your efficiency, your quality, and making your shareholders happy. That we need to make sure that OSHA is far stronger than it is in America. We need 5, 10 times as many inspectors. Like I said, I've been in manufacturing for 33 years. I think I've seen 2 OSHA inspectors. That should change. But the incredulous amazement of the reporter on NPR today, I'm just shaking my head, and then I got really angry, and then I had to change the channel. And I just went and listened to some heavy metal crap for a while. Because it's almost as bad as listening to Republicans. These faux liberal, faux progressives, who, unless it affects them personally, don't seem capable of stepping outside their personal life experience to understand that other people have different life experiences. And I'm not saying everyone doesn't suffer, because they do. But they suffer in different ways. And the ways that workers suffer can be alleviated if we had strong controls on capitalism and strong protections for those workers. Other countries have done it, and their economies are stronger for it. America was at its strongest economically when the unions were at their strongest. A strong labor force is a strong nation. And right now, we have an incredibly weak labor force. And we need it to be stronger. We need capitalism to be reined in and workers to be strengthened. This is not going to be a popular opinion amongst the followers of Emperor Theses Rex. I understand that. The GOP would really like workers to have no power whatsoever. They would really like us to all be serfs, with only the 1% and above having any kind of power at all. The rest of us shouldn't even have the ability to vote. We should just be happy we get the scraps. And the problem is at the moment, an autocracy is being built in America. Very shortly, the GOP is going to control all 3 branches of government. And if you have a crappy conservative government, you can vote that out. But if you have an autocracy, you can't vote one of those away. That calls for revolution. And I would really like to avoid that, because I'm a student of history and I know what happens when there are revolutions. I know that the little people get ground up and killed. And the big people, a few might get caught, made examples of, and the rest will just change their coats inside out, switch out their names and their corporate charters, and as soon as the revolution is over, pop right back up again under a new guise and a new name, and the new boss the same as the old boss. We need controls on capitalism in America and the world at large. We need strong workers, strong labor, and far weaker capitalists. That's just what we need, and we don't have it. And these faux liberal, faux progressives in the Democratic Party and on NPR, which is supposed to be this, bastion of progressive thought, which spent a year normalizing the atrocities committed to the English language by Emperor Theses Rex, and ignoring it, and saying how they're treating him like he was a legitimate candidate. He isn't even a legitimate president. Aided by a foreign power to get into his position. Lost the popular vote by the largest landslide in our presidential history. And NPR just helped him right along. Just help him slide that cape around his shoulder. Handed the scepter and crown to him and said, "Emperor, you're in charge." So I'm not too happy with NPR. I'm not too happy with the guileless faux progressive reporters they have. With the fact that workers' plight is somehow a mystery that has to be discovered over and over again, because apparently they can't read. It's disheartening. and if I may borrow a symbol from the past, power to the people.